Let's see. What's good, my brother? What's good?
What is up? I'm grateful to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Listen, I'm grateful that I got you. You know what I mean? I just want to say that I was privy. Well, I heard about you. One of my brothers actually shared a video, and I seen it was like a viral video on like Instagram, I think. And I
Hmm.
was just like, man, I gotta get in contact with this brother. I want to hear more about this, and I want to talk about it. And more people need to see this. This is what we need to see in our community is young inventors like you, like yourself, with something that is like, when you first hear it, it's like, wow, you know. So yeah, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad we can make this happen. So my
Absolutely.
so off top, my name is Thawahgabar. Of course, you already, I'm sure you probably already looked at some of my content, but really I talk about Black issues, Black history, and just the experience we have had here as Black people, and the greatness also. And you're a testament to that. So if you could, brother, tell us a little bit about yourself, Julian.
All right. So, my name is Julian Brown. I'm
Hmm.
21 years old, and I'm founder of Naturejab. Naturejab is a company that over the past almost 5 years now has been working to innovate a solution for plastic waste. So, since my senior year in high school, I started to construct my first ever plastic into fuel reactors, and I've been sharing my message online and what I've been doing, innovating these types of technology in the hope of providing a plastic free Earth for the future generations and cleaning the ocean up.
That's amazing. And one of the things that I have seen recently was the large amount of plastic that is actually in the ocean. It was almost like an island,
Yeah.
if I can remember right. So Nature Jab's whole mission is to basically, you know, find another way to get rid of the waste that we have, such as plastic. Is there any other materials?
Well, my machine can process every type of waste. I focus on plastics because
Mhm.
they don't biodegrade, right?
Right. Yeah,
That's the
and for brothers and sisters that don't know what biodegrade means, it just doesn't break down and it doesn't go back into the earth. It just sits there and sit there. You're gonna have to explain a lot for me and my audience because listen, when it comes to us as Black folks, when a lot of us are not into the sciences and
right.
we're not privy to certain words and understandings. So tell
Yeah.
me about, like, where did you grow up at? Like, how was your upbringing?
So I did grow up with both my parents. I'm originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where I was born. I was
Okay.
there for about until I was about 6. Then I moved here to in Douglas County, the outskirts of Atlanta, and I've been here for most of my life. So I am from Tennessee, but I've been in Georgia so long. Some might call me a Georgia native, right?
Right, right.
uh, and so my schooling, I just had the basic high school education, K through 12. I was homeschooled up until 5th grade. That is something I'll add in there, but I did not go to college to learn
Mhm.
anything I did. I'm completely self-taught. But I will say one of the most important parts of my life was being in karate class. My mom enrolled me
Mhm.
in karate when I was in from fourth. I stayed in karate from 4th grade to 9th grade, and I'm a black belt in karate. And I think that from the outside, people might think, a martial art is all about learning how to fight. But I would say
Mhm.
what karate did for me was it was the all the other traits, the discipline, the perseverance, uh, you
Mhm.
know, all those types of more mental traits, and then the more spiritual balancing side of things. And I would say
Mhm.
those are so important because those apply to everything I did in my life after that point. Then the second most important thing that happened to me was my mom also enrolled me when I was in 11th grade into a welding program. So in high
Mm.
school, I basically had half the day at school and half the day I went to university for welding. And that was so
Mm.
important because I needed the ability to weld to put together my machines. So that played directly into my story on how I was even able to construct, these machines with the limited resources and at a pretty young age.
Mm. That's man, that is amazing, man. That you are not formally taught. You didn't go to college. You're self-taught. Uh, that just goes to show a testament to, in this day and age, you can learn anything, right?
Right.
But you also need that foundation. Going back to what you said about karate and the things that it built inside of you, the discipline. I hear that a lot too. I hear that a lot about, the sports where we think that it's all about physicality, where we talk
Right.
about boxing, things, football, things that are really hard on the body. People see, they don't seem to see that this is building character also and strength
Right.
in the inner man, you know. So that's amazing, man. So, like, from a historical context, we know that black folks, we have invented all type of things. We have focused on all different categories in society as far as creating things, innovating things. As a youngster, I know you talked about welding, but as a youngster, did you have any like inventors or innovators that were like heroes, that people that you looked up to, that like what drove you to, like, were you always like a scientific guy, like a guy that's like into how things work and like that?
I have always had an engineer's mind, and
Mm.
my parents used to tell me that I was either going to be an engineer or a lawyer because I love to argue too. But I I always would build with Lego blocks. That would be my number one thing
Hmm.
I'd ask for every Christmas. And when I would build with Lego blocks, I would like kind of make little inventions. I remember I built like some type of vehicle that could levitate off of the magnetic field of Earth. That was just all a theory and a concept. I was like 13 years old, but I was already thinking in that mindset of innovation and such. So I've been like this since I was as far back as I can remember.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, because as a kid, I was the type of kid that would tear up all my toys just to see what they were doing in the inside. How do they
Yeah,
work? What is it? So I was
right.
one of those kids that did a lot of breakdowns and
An
just
inquisitive
told,
mind.
yeah, inquisitive mind.
Yeah.
That's really neat. That's excellent, man. Um, so let's talk about nature jab a little bit. Let's get a little more in depth into that. So I seen on a video where you actually were going through the process. You were walking through your whole setup. Um, and you said something about, I think it was something about a tour. Like, could you, in short, kind of explain the process of everything and how it works in layman terms, if you could?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, first, we have to understand what plastic is.
Hmm.
Plastic is a product made of petroleum, it is a product of crude oil. Now,
Okay.
crude oil and petroleum are the same things that we refine our fuels out of, like gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, etc. So,
Okay.
keep that in mind. Plastic is a product of those. Now, on a chemical level, if you were to, let's say, just zoom really far into plastic and you're looking at its atoms, if you're looking at the plastic's hydrocarbon bonds, as they're called, and I know that sounds complicated and that's getting more sciencey, but it's going to make sense when I say this in a second. If you look at the plastic's hydrocarbon bonds, plastic has hydrocarbon bonds that are very, very long.
Hmm.
Let's say they're this long, the length of this whole camera. These hydrocarbon bonds being this long is why plastic is non-biodegradable. Let's take the hydrocarbon bonds of like sugar or bread, carbohydrates, things that bacteria can break biodegradable. They're like this long, right?
I see.
Let's take gasoline. Gasoline is like this long, right?
Hmm.
So once again, plastic is like this long, the whole length. Gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, all of them are like this long. And
Hmm.
then regular things that can break down are like super small. Now, this is also tied, the length of these hydrocarbon bonds are tied to what we call calorific value, right? Calorific
Hmm.
value is how much energy something has in it, right? So that's why you can take a piece of sugar and it might have a hydrocarbon bond this long, but it will burn, right? And then
Right.
plastic, you set it on fire, it will burn. But with
Right.
plastic having an even longer hydrocarbon bond than gasoline and diesel, that means plastic has more energy in it than even gasoline, diesel, jet fuel. So the fuels we use of this world don't even have as much fuel in them as plastic waste does. And we all know that because plastic burns so well, right? We can
Right.
see that ourselves. So Understanding that, that goes back to how these machines work. So in short, we start by shredding the plastic, and then the plastic is loaded inside this machine. Now, this
Mhm.
machine is a microwave pyrolysis reactor. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get this on the shot, because I actually have this hoodie
Okay.
on here that kind of just kind of shows. You see, this is plastic plus microwaves equals fuel. So that's very basic, but in short,
Mhm.
the reactor is a microwave pyrolysis reactor, meaning that it uses microwave heating to heat up the plastic. So when we load in shredded plastic, this plastic is in a sealed and shut container. It is inside of a reactor.
Mhm.
And that reactor being sealed and shut is close to the air. And with it being close to the air, that means that there's no air inside of it, right? Because we end up pulling a vacuum to suck all the air out. Now, here's how fire works. Fire works through heat, fuel, and air. So, in order for a fire to form, you need all three: heat, fuel, and air. We have the heat from microwaves, we have the fuel
Mhm.
from the plastic, we have no air. So, a fire does not happen when the microwaves go in there and heat the plastics. Instead, what happens, since it cannot catch on fire and burn without oxygen or air, well, instead, the plastic actually starts to break apart. These
Mhm.
hydrocarbon bonds I was telling you about, they start to
Right.
be broken apart, and they end up returning to what they were. They end up returning to petroleum, the
Mm.
basic chemical constituents, right? So they end up returning to a form that is indicative of fuels. So, in short, the plastic ends up becoming a vapor, and that vapor is no longer plastic at this point. This vapor, it's almost like if you were to set something on fire, the smoke is
Mhm.
a different product than the product itself, right? Like a piece of paper set on fire, that smoke is no longer paper. This vapor
Mhm.
is no longer plastic, and this vapor can actually be condensed, kind of like how clouds condense and then they rain. Well, this vapor
Mhm.
can be condensed, and when it rains, or the condensate that comes over is actually oils, right? And those
Mm.
oils are collected on one side of the machine, but then some of these vapors never turn back into oil. The rest of those vapors, well, they end up getting compressed, and then they end up being compressed into a natural gas alternative, because once again, this is breaking down the plastic to the basic petroleum building blocks. So that includes the liquid oils, the gaseous fuels. So
Mhm.
these liquid oils we get when they get out the machine, it's quite similar to crude oil. They're usually black, viscous, heavy,
Mhm.
it's a mix of a whole bunch of different compounds that have similar properties to gasoline, diesel, jet fuel. And this crude oil product can be refined into alternatives to gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. So, in short, plastic is loaded inside of a microwave reactor. The plastic is broken down into vapors, petroleum vapors. Those petroleum vapors, some of them are cooled back into a liquid petroleum
Mhm.
product, and some of them are compressed into a gaseous petroleum product. And the only thing left of plastic inside the machine is no longer plastic, but carbon. The plastic ends up just being carbon black, which is just basically a black powder, and that can be used for tons of things as well.
Wow. That is amazing, man. I had somebody in the comments that they asked, and I think you answered it. They said, so it makes it into a liquid, which I think you said it does make it part of it into a liquid and then part of it into a gas, correct?
Right, right. And I have to make sure that I emphasize that this is not like just making plastic a liquid, as in like liquid plastic. This
Right.
liquid is the result of a permanent chemical change. So this liquid is no longer plastic at all. In fact,
Okay.
you could leave it out, put it in a freezer, it would never turn back into plastic, right? It's a permanent chemical change.
Wow. Man, that is amazing. And that is it seems like it's something that a lot of people, a lot of companies should hop on, because you're basically recycling and you're taking the biodegradable plastic and changing it into something where it's not sitting around everywhere, and it's not, and I mean, in certain areas, of course, we have people that recycle, especially in the city areas, but I can imagine like in rural areas or just in waterways and
Right,
things
right.
like that, there's plastic everywhere just laying around that's, just looking trashy and crazy. But uh that's really dope, man. That's really dope. As a youngster, right? Well, I would say when it comes to inventions, right? When it comes to the things that Black people have produced, I see you and brothers and sisters like you as young visionaries, and we need more people like you. How what is your do you have any more ideas, or do you have any other another vision anything on the cusp where you're thinking about trying?
Yes, indeed. So, being somebody that does the type of thing I do, you have the inquisitive mind, and even when you're building something, it never stops. So, I do
Mhm.
have a few other ideas of things I want to do. I think about things all the time, but of course, I just have to focus and prioritize what I'm working on now to get this done. And then
Yeah.
that will actually give me further opportunity to explore these other things because I'll have the capital to do so and the support to do so.
Right. The brother asked another question. He said I'm guessing it's a question. Plastic comes from crude oil?
Right. It does.
Yes, it does. It definitely does. And um, so I remember I was looking at a video and you said something like, because it's not an easy process. It's trial and error. And you were saying something about, I'm paraphrasing, you were saying something about how, smart people compared to people who are not that smart people don't get that much done because you're always thinking about the what ifs. So in essence, a person that is not as smart as you get more things done than a smart person. Could
Right.
you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, it's what I call being a sayer versus a doer, right? When you have a intelligence, sometimes it could serve you improperly if you spend so much time kind of pondering and doing the theory in your head and thinking, will this work? Will this work if I do this, do that? And I learned building these machines because the only type of background research I could do on these machines was reading tons of scientific research papers, right?
Mm,
And from universities around the world that were building different machines. Like nobody had built a machine that looked like mine or the way I did it. And so I
mm,
was like, the only way that I can truly know these things is if I just go out and do it and figure it out.
right.
If I'd sat there just trying to calculate and think too much, I'd
Yeah.
probably still be thinking to this day.
Yeah.
And we're in a point in time where I don't want to all mean to fearmonger, but I think that we're getting into a place of urgency where it comes to these
Definitely.
types of things. I mean, we see
Mhm,
the microplastic problem going crazy. We see the effects of it, and
mhm.
it's already in fetuses and such. You can't even be born without microplastics. So, and only more and more go out every day. The amount of plastic that ends up in the ocean is crazy on a daily basis. So, I think that you know when you have somebody that maybe isn't of high of intelligence, right? They don't spend as much time thinking of what will go wrong, or they don't spend as much time doubting themselves. They just
Right.
do it because they don't really have the cognitive ability. But those with
Right.
the cognitive ability to do great things
Yeah.
oftentimes doubt themselves too much.
Yeah.
So there obviously has to be a balance. But I do encourage everybody to, in any way, in any application in your life, be more of a doer.
Hmm. That's good. That's some excellent advice. I believe a lot of us, in fact, I do that a lot. I believe a lot of us do that where we think about it so much and we think about the different angles and all of that that sometimes it doesn't get done or it doesn't get done fast enough. Instead of just doing it, instead of just stepping out there and saying, you know what, forget it. I'm about to try this. I'm about to do this. And so going back to the fact that you are basically self-taught and you read all of these uh different papers from different universities, excuse me, that's amazing. Similarly, when I research, I tap into that, because I'm not college taught. I haven't been to college, but in order to learn the history, I have to read through papers and old books and things of that nature to get a foothold on what was going on back in a certain time. But without the actual initiative to just step forward and do something, you'll never do it. So when I heard you say that, I said that is so true. And that's true for a lot of people in just different aspects of life, that they overthink things. They say, well, what if I don't know if I do this, or what if I try this? And I guess you'll never know if you could have succeeded if you don't just step out and have no fear of failing, you know?
Yeah.
So I know you heard of the the guys that created a way for an engine to run off of hydrogen. There was a guy, I believe he created a buggy, right? I think it was like
Stanley
around
Meyer.
yes, yes. And then more recently, there was a brother. I think he had like a Ford truck. Unfortunately, he was in that incident where um, a man went into a grocery store and it was like a mass
He
shooting.
was in New York, right? Buffalo.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So you have a lot of conspiracy theories. You have people that say the big corporate engine, the machines, they don't want to see people produce things that are more efficient because of the money. What is your thoughts on that? Do you ever think about things like that? Being that you have an invention that basically this process could change the world, and it could also, you know, I wouldn't say change the way uh profits are made off of the product, but it could take profits out of some of the bigger companies' pockets.
Right. Right.
Have you ever thought about the possibilities,
Yeah,
And I'm not
absolutely.
trying to be negative or nothing like that, bro, but you know,
Yeah,
as
it's
people we think,
reality. It's
yeah.
reality. You just think about it. We do see patterns all throughout history. It's quite obvious that the corporations and even the powers that be don't really seek what's best for the world or what's best for us. They seek what's best for their power, for their profits. And so,
Hmm.
of course, when you have something that comes along that could challenge that, you do it. Of course, think about, well, what risk does that pose? I
Hmm.
think that, well, I think that with what I'm doing, I like to look at like the way I'm doing it as a very unorthodox approach because just for reference, most people they kind of build the thing and secretly and then tell everybody. I'm telling
Right,
everybody along the whole way.
right.
So it's kind of got to a point now where even if let's say I disappeared today,
Hmm.
it's already been out there so much. I don't even know how many people are building these machines, but I get emails and I see comments all the time of people talking about the machines they've built. And so I certainly am killable, you could say. But ideas are bulletproof, right? And the
Right.
idea is already out there. It's out in the ether now, and at the end of the day, that whatever needs to be done with plastic, it will be done. Whether it's me or somebody else. So
Right. Yeah. And we definitely don't want nothing to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? So we
yeah,
don't even, I wouldn't want to even think that. But a question I have is like through the process, the building process, is the whole machine or the method, is it patented?
so I have a patent pending on my specific design
Hmm.
of these machines. I cannot patent the process because the process of microwave pyrolysis and pyrolysis in general has been around for I think a few hundred years now.
Okay. Okay. Um, and going back a little, I'm just rewinding what you said about the process has been out there. Going back to the brother that we was talking about in Buffalo, I think he did say that he basically just read papers that were already out on the internet
Yeah.
in order to, make what he made, the engine, the hydrogen engine, what he made. So uh, I I see what you're saying with that. Like, think this stuff is all out there. You're
Yeah.
doing it. You're doing it your way. You're not. It's not like you're doing it in a secretive way.
Yeah, nothing new under the sun. And kind of like we were talking about before, think about it. If you're a smart person, you have all the ability to make something amazing, but you're just not doing it. That's kind of like the equivalent of what we have. We have the technology and the research to find all the solutions to these problems in our world, but we're not doing it because it's not being pushed by the right people in the right positions in the world. And so we need this more unorthodox approach of kind of getting everybody behind you um, to get these technologies where they need to be.
I had a brother say, you should take some of this technology to Africa. Have you thought about like the technology? Well, you're still working on it, right?
Yeah,
So But in the future, have you thought about this spread into other continents?
Yes, and I already have contacts in Africa, in many different countries. So it's really just a matter of me finishing the machine,
Hmm.
and it will be in Africa. There's no point in me doing this if I'm not getting the machine in the countries that need it the most, that
That's
suffer the
right,
most from
brother. That
unemployment. There's no point.
that's right, brother. I agree with you with that because uh like what's the point of innovating? The point should be not for like greed, but to help someone. It should be that, you
Right.
know, it should serve the purpose that it was created for. I mean, it's not created you know, to just help you and your family. It's created for humanity. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. Now, when it comes to Naturejab, how can brothers and sisters help you? Like what is some of the things that our brothers and sisters, our community can do to help you on your quest to achieve your goal?
Definitely being a part of it, following me and sharing what I'm doing with people. I do also have many different ways that you could donate as well. But I do really think the most important part is, letting people know this is a thing, and being a part of the family and getting
Right.
this out there. Because, like I said, you know, sharing it with people and building the machine go hand in hand with what I do. It's not a separate thing. It's not like this is the marketing and this is the machine. No, it's one company, you know,
Mhm.
being like that is the machine to me, letting everybody know that this is possible just as much as the machine is the machine.
That's right, man. Listen, Julian, I'm gonna be out there sometime. I'll be there in April. Lord willing, I'll be in Atlanta in April, and hopefully I can link up with you, and and you could show me the process like in person, and we probably can do something like that just to get the word out, and for more people to see and be exposed to what you got going on, because it's definitely amazing, brother. When I seen it, I was like, you know what, man? You see, we are a blessed people without even knowing it, because we have brothers and sisters like yourself that literally come from a background where you were not taught this. You taught it to yourself, and this is something that literally could change the world.
Thank you.
So that's about all the questions I got. I want to we'll tap in again. We can do this again whenever you have time. But I just want to say, like, when it comes to brothers and sisters like you, I said it so many times, like you are the future. And I'm like twice twice your age, brother. So I'm looking at you like you are a prodigy. So
Thank you.
yeah, man. So just stay up. I'll stay in contact with you. I'm gonna contact you when we get off live, and we'll just go from there. But I appreciate you for giving me the time. I appreciate you for breaking it down for us, for brothers and sisters that don't know these terms, don't understand this science. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, Julian. So we're gonna wrap it up, and I'll talk to you. Well, I'm gonna holler at you when we get off. But
All right.
yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, y'all heard it, man. That brother, like I said before, is amazing. And this is some of the stuff. This is something we actually need in our community. We need more youngsters to be brought up in a way where they become great innovators and inventors, and offer something to the world. Offer something like, there's been so many brothers and sisters that have made inventions. I brought that up in the past. A lot of the things that we use, excuse me, a lot of the things that we use today in everyday society comes from Black folks. And so this is important. I mean, it's important to recognize these people. And that's what I want to do. I don't know, something's in my throat, but I want to recognize brothers and sisters like that. And let me just read this real quick. This is out of the Bible. This is Proverbs 8 and 12. It says, wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. You understand? Like, our people are so dang talented. We just need the opportunity. More importantly, we need to push. We need to raise our children in the way where they feel empowered and they're not afraid to take chances, not afraid to learn, not afraid to think outside of the box, not afraid of what people will think about them. That brother is a testament to that. He's a testament to greatness. He's a testament to Black excellence. You know what I mean? If you ever believed in Black excellence is not Jay-Z and Beyonce. Black excellence is what you just saw right there. All right. So with that, guys, I'm about to wrap it up. I'll tap back in with y'all. And I'm gonna get some water. Okay. This is Black Authentic Truth. Peace.